Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you very much for organizing the webinar on advanced sourcing tools and techniques for recruiters. First of all, my name is Shane McCusker. I run a company called Intelligent Software, and my day job is writing software for recruitment agencies to help them make more placements. It's CRM, it's applicant tracking systems, but really it's ways to try and enable recruiters to work smarter, to enable them to do things they can't do through any other mechanisms, so they can make more money, make more placements, and in doing so, make more money, employ more staff, buy more software from me. That's the mechanism. However, the webinar series that we run is really to share any other ideas that I can come up with that will help recruiters recruit better, recruit effectively, find candidates, spot opportunities, find vacancies, and that's what we're here for. I also am fairly involved with a number of social recruiting projects. I run a couple of groups on LinkedIn for the South African marketplace, South African recruiters, South African jobs. I tweet under Intelligence, spelled with a 1, although to be honest I don't really tweet that much. Talk about the videos and webinars that I do. And I also run my recruiting blog, which tends to be a repository for videos such as this one that are going up there, the YouTube channel. If you're interested in following what we do, connect to me on LinkedIn is probably the best way of doing it. Just search for me, Shane McCusker, on LinkedIn, working for Intelligent Software. There's not too many of us around, so if you find a Shane McCusker, it'll almost certainly be me. Okay, on to today's main event, because time is running. We're going to talk about sourcing candidates through the internet. Or, well, I'm going to talk about sourcing candidates really, because there's lots of different places you're going to find them. The job of a recruiter is about managing information. It's what you sell. It's, you don't have a natural asset like a gold mine to dig in the ground and find things. You basically sell who you know and what you know. And if you can get more information, extract more value from information, then you'll make more money as a recruiter. So there's lots of different sources of information available to you. I've listed a few of them here from your own database, referrals, job boards, social media, the internet, and other sources. Let's go through these because I've listed them in order for a good reason. I am a firm believer that your starting point whenever you're sourcing should be your own database. A lot of recruiters that I talk to, for some strange reason, always think that they want to find new people, fresh meat into the system. But the value of the people you already know, the value of the people that have registered with your agency or given you their CV resume at some point in time in the past is massively important to you, because one, you have contact with those people. They want you to communicate with them. They've given you permission to communicate with them, much more so than trying to find a profile of somebody on LinkedIn who you don't really know. The data has been verified and validated by yourself. Whenever they registered, you found out who they were, spoke to them, maybe you've met them, interviewed them. A lot of people think that the older the data is on your database, the less valuable it is, but I mean, that really shouldn't be the case. We're always looking for passive job seekers, people that have got experience that are not maybe in the active recruitment market out looking for a job. Those are the people that you're going to find hardest to find and possibly make most money out of. And they're ones that registered with you 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago. They've got more experience now. They're not in the recruitment market. The information you have is probably as up to date as their LinkedIn profile is, because the last time anybody updates their LinkedIn profile is when they're actively looking for work. So information that is old tends to be pretty valuable, and a lot of people overlook it. But most importantly, your own information should be the easiest information you have to search. And this is possibly one of the things that annoys me most, because of the fact that the reason a lot of people don't look at their own information is because they think for some strange reason it's easier to go to a job board, it's easier to go to LinkedIn, it's easier to go to the internet. It shouldn't be that way. The reason being is because you need to be able to classify your own information and develop a classification structure, a mechanism whereby you can store information and find it. There's no point in me talking about internet sourcing if you can't find the candidate whose name is written on a piece of paper sitting on the desk in front of you. You need to be able to sort your information in a way that you can find it again. The reason being is because the power of classifications is that you can eliminate the stuff you're not interested in if it's properly classified. And that's one thing you cannot do with external information particularly effectively. Google's great at giving you information, but whenever you search on Google, you get a million results. Now, if the piece of information you're looking for happens to be in the top 10, that's great. But if it's record 556,000, then you're never going to get there. a classification structure for your own information is the most successful way of eliminating information that you don't need. Because of the search tools that are available to you. Your own information, your own database needs to have really, really good search tools. Boolean search is what we'll be talking about a little bit in detail now when we're looking at internet sourcing, which is basically using ands and ors to search for stuff. But the power of your own information is exclusion searching, where you can say, I don't want to see people that live in a geographical area that I'm not interested in or don't have the skill sets I have. I'm looking for an IT manager. I don't want somebody who happens to mention IT and manager. And what we'll find is that the cleverness in searching isn't about finding stuff. It's about not finding the stuff you don't want. And that's, if you get that into your head about trying to eliminate the stuff you don't want, it'll make your searching much more effective. The other thing is, and I'll fly my own flag here, obviously, because I spend my time developing software tools for recruiters, is that whenever you actually understand what recruiters want, you can develop really clever searching tools, really, where we're automatically giving you stuff and spotting opportunities to find candidates you otherwise would miss. So, get yourself a decent system, whether it's a piece of software or whether it's just a process that you implement within your own recruitment sphere. Get a system that works for you, that is clear, is clever, and does things that you want it to do. If you can't if it's not working for you, change it. Look at other systems on the market. Just sit down and work out what it is you want to do better. Okay, next up, referrals. Referrals are, at this moment in time, still the #1 source of hire for most recruiters. In other words, you don't find people randomly, somebody recommends somebody to you or gives you a name of somebody or points you in the right direction. And so whenever you're sourcing, my approach has always been about creating a pool of people who will act as referrers for you rather than looking for the perfect candidate for the job, because so many people that you come across you will not place. You want to try and get value from those conversations. You have so many conversations with people that would, in theory, lead to nothing if it wasn't for asking those people for referrals or getting them to help you with your search. So really, really, really push referrals. A lot of people think the internet sourcing stuff is about sitting at a computer in isolation. Pick up the phone and talk to people. It's one part of the process, but really you need to talk to people to get leads or communicate with them in a way that enables you to get them to help you source. Social media. Yep, it's a buzzword. Social recruiting is a buzzword. Don't get too excited about it because it's absolutely huge, but it is giving you a selection of tools to use and add to your armory. A lot of social media as being the big three or the big four. LinkedIn, in fact, a lot of people think of social media from a recruiting point of view as being LinkedIn. From a job seeker's point of view, a lot of people think of Twitter as being the place to look for jobs, whereas LinkedIn is the place to find candidates. Mix and match these ones. Did a little bit of search. There's a website out there called Wikipedia, which I love. A fantastically useful resource in terms of trying to educate yourself with regards to terminology. If you're recruiting in the sphere, always use Wikipedia to go and research stuff. But look at this. I got a list of social networking websites on Wikipedia. I'm just going to scroll down this page. I'm not going to talk as I do this because I appreciate my audio quality drops whenever I start changing screens. But look how many different social media sites there are. There are hundreds of them out there, hundreds of them. And if you look at the different sources of social media site that you can go searching on, it's almost infinite. So think about where you're going to source stuff from. If you're thinking of social media, go beyond the obvious and delve deeper. But other than social media, what else is there? There's the whole of the internet. Think of all the different places that people can post information about themselves that's useful to you. Web pages, personal pages, events pages, directories, clubs and societies. The list goes on. Professional bodies, forums, alumni. Prezi is the package that I'm using to do this presentation with. But once I do my presentation, it goes public. And anybody can search and find my presentations. But you can search and use Prezi to find other people's presentations. This is just an example of a site. It's not designed for sourcing. It's not designed even to be a database of people. But if you go and look for Prezis on nuclear physics, you're bound to find nuclear physicists producing those Prezis. So it's another example of websites that are out there that enable you to search. What else is there if you're looking beyond the web? We've got this concept called the dark web. I love the phrase the dark web because it reminds me of Harry Potter But the dark web is basically any website that out there that is not indexed by a search engine. And that is the vast majority of the internet. The vast majority of the internet is not indexed by Google, is not indexed by Bing. Why is that? Well, you access the dark web all the time. Anything that requires a password. Okay? So if you log into LinkedIn under your own user profile, you can join closed groups that are not accessible to search engines. Job boards are not accessible to search engines. There's lots and lots of stuff out there that's not accessible to search engines that you can access by going and looking for it, whether you pay somebody money or not. Any Ning network is a closed network potentially, and it may well be freely accessible. So there's lots and lots of sources in the internet that are available to you. What else is there? There's a whole lot of stuff out there that is not on the internet. One of the biggest networks out there, almost as big as Facebook, is a system called Skype. Skype is a wonderful tool because you can type in stuff and you find people out there. And not only that, you can communicate directly with them. There's lots of other things like that that enable you to communicate and connect with people they're not internet orientated. Okay, let's move on and let's start using some real examples. Let's go to Google, see what happens. I'm just going to show you, I've opened up a little notepad thing and I'm going to show you some of the searches that I'm using. The reason being is I can just make them a bit bigger in Notepad and I can remember. I'm based in not so sunny Belfast, Northern Ireland, and I'm just going to do a quick search to see what happens if I type in Accountants Belfast CV. Try this with your own phraseology and see what comes up. What am I getting? Am I getting any CVs for accountants? Well, yes, I am. Look, I've got CV director. It's down there. Okay, that's a CV. What else have I? Okay, on the first page, what I'm getting, predominantly I'm getting jobs. I'm getting job advertising. There's advertising from Indeed. I'm getting advertising Simply Hired. So these are job boards. Well, I can improve this search a little bit by adding a couple of extra words in. If I type in minus job minus jobs. What I'm doing, my sign tells Google that I don't want to find any websites with the word job on it or the word jobs on it, but I do want to find websites with the word accountant and Belfast and CV on it. And lo and behold, that has improved my search. So I've now got another CV there, Viewpoint Curriculum Vitae, another CV, another CV. So we're getting much more happy results here than I was getting before. Well, that's useful. So if I approach this from a point of view of getting rid of the stuff that I don't want, it is automatically improving the quality of my search. Let's look at a few other things that are coming up here. I'm using Google here to search the internet for websites, but Google is giving me a range of options on the left-hand side to look for other things. Images, for example. If I click on images, what am I going to get? Well, I'm going to get a whole lot of photographs of things off web pages. And they're coming up. These look like stock shots of web pages that don't seem particularly applicable to my search, Accountants Belfast CVs. But if I scroll down a bit, I start to see photographs of people that look like real people. And lo and behold, those people happen to be referencing accountancy. I'm probably in Belfast. If I scroll down a little bit further, I'm getting more people. Those look like LinkedIn profiles of accountancy people. What else have we got there? Okay, let's see if I can improve this a little bit further. One of the other things that this image search does, which I think is really useful, is it allows me, sorry, I've scrolled too far. You'll see it says any type, and one of the options gives me face. If I click on face, I'm looking for Accountants Belfast, I suddenly get photographs of people's faces. And I suspect that an awful lot of those people are accountants in Belfast. In actual fact, if I remove CV, which isn't really relevant to photographs, run that search, I'm getting a whole lot more faces of what are almost certainly accountants in Belfast. So simply by doing a really basic search saying accountant Belfast, looking at images and faces, then I'm going to get a whole lot of people that are going to give me leads to websites of people publishing faces. If I actually remove faces off that, you might get group shots of people, which is easier because they're like sports events where you're mentioning, corporate days out. A really useful resource to go and try and find people just by looking at images and faces. Okay, let's go back and start to see what else I can do. If you look at this and think accountant Belfast, there's lots of other terms that could indicate that it's an accountant. And so let me just scroll down and show you what I've done here. Accountant, I may also find the word accountants or accountancy. I may look for qualifications like CIMA or ACCA. Belfast could be also Northern Ireland, and CV could be resume or vitae, or vitae spelled. I always misspell curriculum vitae, so I felt that other people might misspell it too, so let's put the misspelling in as well. Because I'm using, Google works with ands and ors. If you don't put anything at all, it assumes an and, but it doesn't assume an or, so I need brackets. If I take all this information, copy that, and put it in there after the jobs, minus jobs and jobs, and do that search, it's going to give me a whole lot more results. So I'm expanding my search, and by expanding my search I'm able to get more information. There's a couple of other things, by the way. Again, on the left hand side of Google it says show search tools. If I drop that down, look at the different options available. I can look at websites that have been updated within a range of time. I can also see sites with images, related searches, blah 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 blah. One of the ones I quite like is this verbatim one. Google has this habit of trying to make assumptions about what you want, but whenever you use verbatim, it stops that assumption making and it gives you just sort of what you want. And it sort of works. Sometimes it doesn't work. There you go. I think it's quite useful. Some of the other things we can talk about now as well. Let's see if I can improve my search a little bit more, because you'll notice that the pages that I'm jumping up and down about here, the ones that look like they're CVs, say curriculum vitae or say CV in the title of the page. Some of them do anyway. So let me hone this down. I'm going to use an operator called InTitle. All you do is type InTitle, all in lowercase, CV. When I do that, it's telling Google that I only want pages where CV is in the title of the page. So CV, Ken Lambert, CV. All these pages are now coming back with CVs. So we're doing too much. I've expanded my search, saying all the different types of accountants, accountancy, accountants, CIMA and ACCA I want in Belfast or Northern Ireland, and I want phraseology in there. And simply by saying InTitle CV, it's again narrowing it down and allowing me to get more detail. There's all sorts of interesting things you can do with these different operators to see where we go with it and see what we do. A couple of other operators. One of the things that I really like, which is really useful, I'm just going to remove this CV resume stuff because I don't think I need it anymore. I'm just going to go looking for people who are accountants or accountancy in Belfast. And what I'm going to do is use a specific website to go looking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say site colon, another Google operator. I'm going to look at plus google.com. What I'm looking for is Google plus accounts of people who are accountants or accountancy or whatever it is, Belfast, Northern Ireland. Lo and behold, Fintan O'Toole, accountants in Belfast. Martin Gilchrist. I know Martin. Martin is an accountant. And it's coming back with the Google pages of people that are something to do with accountant in Belfast, accountant in Belfast, Northern Ireland, accountant. So it's getting me lots of pages, Google Plus profiles of people that may be of interest to me. Some of these pages, Google Plus, it has general pages, but it also has about pages that give somebody's profile. So if I want to get just the about pages, then I could use InTitle colon about. And that will again refine my search. So now I'm only going to get the about pages, which give me profile information. So there's Fintan O'Toole's about page. And so it's another way of getting from this very, very wide search of looking for any page that had accountancy on it and narrowing it down to just get pages that have the specific things that I'm looking for. Okay, let's experiment on. I'm going to remove some stuff here. I just want to show you another really, really powerful Google operator, and it's called file type. And what file type does is it tells Google to only give me files from the internet, because the internet is full of stuff that isn't just web pages. You've got PDF documents up there, you've got image documents up there, but what you also got up there is Excel documents. And Excel documents are ending in XLS or XLSX. But let's just look for some Excel spreadsheets. So the first one on the list, I'm just going to click on this. It says Sheet 1, Accountants. It downloads Training Vacancies to spreadsheet. And lo and behold, sorry, let this open up. Comes up a spreadsheet full of accountants from Belfast. Look at them all. It gives me the name of the company, gives me the name of the accountant, it gives me email addresses, it gives me telephone numbers. I mean, how valuable is that? This is incredible. Excel spreadsheets out there filled with contact information. Let me just go back and show you that again. So what this is that the search is just file type.xls and then the terminology that I'm looking for. I ran another search the other day. I did this one. It sort of shocks me a little when I see these things. This is a search I ran the other day where I was interested in, I'm thinking to myself that Excel spreadsheets might be put up to see attendee lists or to see names and addresses of people. So if you've got an Excel spreadsheet like that, it'll probably have the words email, it'll have name, last name, surname, it'll have job title or position. I was interested in finding, I thought to myself, I'll try and find some people in South Africa. So I thought F&B is a bank in South Africa and fnb.coza is the domain name. So that'll probably appear in somebody's email address. What's this? Oops, beg your pardon. I've got a little bit carried away there. When I put this into my Google search and run my search, I did the search the other day. Look what happens. I get this St. John's Business Directory. This is quite a big Excel spreadsheet, so much so I downloaded it before. Now this is just the first one on the list. This is what I got. I got somebody's contact database. Just look at all the different pages at the bottom of the spreadsheet. There are maybe 10 or 15 of them. Each one of them has hundreds of contact details. Let me show you this one. What we've got is, we've got the name of the business, street, suburb, blah, blah, blah. But I've also got contact details, email addresses, telephone numbers, website addresses. All this information just downloaded. I have literally got hundreds of contact details for people that are on this person's database. And it's just by doing one search pointed at this file type operator. It is such a powerful way of getting large lists of names and addresses of people, and it's all out there for the taking. Absolutely superb thing to do. Okay, what else have I got for you? So that's file type, in title, in URL, in site. I'll show you one other site one that is really, really useful. Again, we'll go back, look for accountants in Belfast. Site. This is a very popular, whenever you do a site operator, this is called an X-ray search, and you can point it at any website you want to and then do a search on that domain. So if I want to look at linkedin.com, I just do site : linkedin.com, and I might say accountants. What will get me are pages from LinkedIn that have accountants in Belfast. But some of these pages, I can tell by the URLs that that is a directory listing. That's a directory listing. So I don't want directory listings, I just want profiles. I can use the in URL operator to remove directory list. I go minus in URL : dir, and lo and behold, the directory listing disappears. So this is now a public profile. This is a public profile, public profile. There's Andrew Cowan. LinkedIn profile of Andrew Cowan, who is, hopefully if it comes up, he is a director at Accounting Studio and he's an accountant. Very, very easy to do these searches. I want to move on and show you some of the clever stuff that you can do. Google is a massively complicated product and there's all sorts of interesting things you can do. Check this out, google.com/CSE. Let me just copy that over to my notepad to blow it up for you a little bit. Okay, google.com/CSE. That stands for Custom Search Engine. And I'll show you what this does. I'm going to create a new search engine. This is a way for you to do a complex search and store it where it becomes really, really easy to use. So let's try that Google Plus search again. So I call my custom search engine Google Plus. I'm going to say, I'm going to search plus.google.com, which is where all the Google Plus sites live. I'm going to accept the terms and conditions. I click on next. This is free to use. It allows me to choose the styling of it. I'm just going to check the default one. And there's my search. Now, what it also allows me to do is add refinements to this. I'll explain what this is. You saw whenever I did the the Google Plus search, I made a modification, the in title, to say that I only wanted to see about pages. So I'll create a refinement called about pages, and all I did was in title colon about. I'm going to save that. Sites tab, my search engines, got my Google Plus search engine, click on that, and it brings me to my search engine. And what this does when I type in Accountant Belfast and run my search, it gives me a Google search result, but it's only giving me Google Plus pages. All these pages are from Google Plus. There's Fintno Tool, there's Andrew Cowan. Lo and behold, same naming up as the LinkedIn search. But I've got a refinement called About Pages. Click on the refinement, and it gives me all the About pages, Andrew Cowan, Accounting Studio, and so on. This is a wonderfully powerful thing. You can create all sorts of clever searches this way. Here's one I did earlier. If you go and have a look at my website page /search, again, this is freely available. We just do this for fun. Intel-sw.com/search. This is a LinkedIn Google custom search. So if I go Accountant Belfast, click on search, all results, and profiles for accountants in Belfast. There's, lo and behold, Andrew Cowan comes up in Google Plus and on LinkedIn. What I've also done with this one is I've added quite a clever refinement called vacancy search. What this does is it adds a refinement in to only find profiles where somebody has recently changed a job. So this person changed job June 12, this person May 2012, May 2012 is June 2012 now for anybody who's watching the recording. And what my theory on this one is if they just started a job, then they'll have just previously left a job. So you can do all sorts of clever searches and deliver them to your team or your colleagues, or even just use it yourself in ways that enable really easy use and really easy things to do. Okay, just coming to the end of our time now, so I'm just going to recap on a couple of things. If you want to see all the Google operators, see what they do, you can have a look at this search, sites.google.com/sites. I found this just by Googling the phrase Google operators, and up it came, and it'll show you all the ones that I think are most useful are these ones. In URL is useful, file type is obviously useful, site is useful, but there's plenty of others. In title is useful. So have a look at those. The other thing I'll say is that Google is not the only search engine out there. There is another one, and the other one is called Bing. Bing is also really, really good. Bing has a different collection of operators, but it indexes separately, so it gives you different results. If the searches work on Google, they can also work on Bing. Bing has a couple of operators that I find particularly useful, one of which is near, and another one is called in-stream set. And what that enables you to do, the near operator in particular, if I say current what it does is it looks for the word current near the word accountant. So if the current job I'm looking for, you'll see accountant and you'll see current head of whatever accountant current. So it's another way of trying to find web pages where a current job title is near the word accountant, and it's a really, really useful operator. Google doesn't have that one, so it's saying looking for the word current within 5 words of accountant. The other one, it doesn't have, Bing doesn't use in URL, but it does have another operator. It's called in-stream set brackets URL colon, which is a really complicated one, but it's there for you. This is another page that just gives you all the Bing operators, really useful resource. Okay, thank you very much for your time. That's the end of our webinar. Let me just go back to my contact details page. There we go. I'd be very grateful if you're interested in more information. Check out my website, intel-sw.com/blog is my blog page. Link to me on LinkedIn if you can. Find out what I'm doing. We do webinars all the time. Thank you very much for your time and attention today. It's great running the webinar. Thank you very much.